Surely you've all been frustrated whenever something you love doesn't get the critical reception you think it deserves. I've got quite a few examples to share with you guys today. Welcome back to OtakuDaiKun. Dai here. I love all sorts of anime, especially obscure ones that I never would have tried, and I just stuck to the top-rated or most popular titles. As a result, I'll wind up enjoying series that don't get the best ratings. That, or I love a given anime so much that no amount of scoring can really do it justice. For today, I dug through all the anime I completed on MyAnimeList to pick out ones I want to recommend to you despite their low rating. For the most part, I tend to agree with the consensus, but not for these ones. There are very few anime that I enjoy that have horrible scores, so for the most part, we'll be looking at anime that scored between 5 and 7.5, whereas I gave them 8s, 9s, or 10s. We'll start off light, but my picks will become more controversial as we go in. If you enjoy this content, be sure to like, comment, share, and smash that notification bell as if it were your waifu. Consider supporting the channel through a YouTube membership, Subscribestar, or Patreon. All three platforms give you the same perks, such as early access and exclusive vids like my Lessons in Magecraft series. Without further ado, let's dive in. To kick things off, let's go with Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress, one of my all-time favorite anime. Personally, I give it a perfect 10, but on MyAnimeList it's currently sitting at a 7.27. That's not the lowest score in the world, but when you combine it with various influencers writing the whole thing off as some kind of Attack on Titan ripoff, it's enough for me to recommend this legendary anime to you all over again. It's an Asian steampunk zombie thriller in which Japan is devastated by an outbreak of mutated humans called Kabaneri. Our main character, Ikoma, is a total badass who figures out how to suppress getting infected by cutting off blood supply to his brain. Testing this theory on himself, he becomes a Kabaneri, a Kabane with his human will intact. He and the adorable Kabaneri Mume team up to protect an armored train, the Kotetsujo, as it seeks refuge in a safe town. Honestly, I like this series way more than Attack on Titan. It has amazing visuals and retro character designs from Haruhiko Mikimoto, as well as a bitchin' soundtrack featuring Sawano Hiroyuki, Supercell, and Emme. Don't let anyone deter you from this exciting anime experience. From the exact same team, we've got the anime film Bubble. It's a beautiful and intense movie about teenagers using an abandoned and flooded Tokyo as their very own parkour paradise. It features Uta, a mysterious girl whose narrative parallels that of the original Little Mermaid, not the Disney one. To me, it's just baffling how gorgeous visuals and catchy Sawano music has an average score of 7.27. Hell nah! This anime is a 10 in my book. I also made a standalone video for this movie if you're curious. Last year, we were treated to the anime Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie. I don't understand how such a charming anime is only sitting at a 6.93, but that's how it is. Yu Izumi is a kind-hearted boy with horrible luck that often gets him injured. Luckily, he has the perfect girlfriend, Michon Shikimori, who's tomboyish enough to protect him from harm. To me, this is a wonderful series that explores a romance dynamic that subverts what we typically expect from men and women. It's not that Yu is weak, but his strengths shine in a different way from his girlfriend. The supporting cast is lovely as well. I really had no reason not to give it a 10, personally. Vandread is a classic anime series that aired way back in Y2K. I definitely feel old, but honestly, I couldn't care less how old an anime is, so long as I enjoy it. It's a sci-fi set in the distant future, in which men and women decide to live separately from each other. They rely on genetic engineering to reproduce, and in general, men and women now see each other as mortal enemies in combat. Things change when Hibiki Tokai winds up stuck on a female battleship. They discover that their mechs can combine, so the men and women on board reluctantly agree to team up for their mutual survival. It's a fun, comedic action series about repressed sexes rediscovering their ancient roots. MyAnimeList only gave it a 7.17, but I give it a solid 9. Nadia, Secret of Blue Water is another one of my all-time favorite anime. It's an absolute classic, and while it has a particularly slow section about 3/4 of the way through, I still consider it to be one of the most exciting adventure series out there. Based on the novel 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Nadia tells the story of an inventor named Jean, who saves the titular Nadia from a group of thieves who are after her mysterious blue pendant. Their epic journey leads them all across the globe, through the vast oceans below, and even to the stars, but I feel this Gainax masterpiece deserves better. For whatever reason, MyAnimeList doesn't show a lot of love to classic OVA series. This can be seen with Fatal Fury, the motion picture, a wonderfully animated retro OVA based on the fighting game series of the same name. Nowadays, you might be more familiar with King of Fighters, but its original cast came from the Fatal Fury franchise. This movie boasts adrenalizing fights, kick-ass music, and lots of sexy guys and gals. While it's currently rated 6.56, I recommend it as a 9, especially now that it's been remastered for Blu-ray. As far as ecchi anime go, a lot of them can fall pretty flat. Girls Bravo, on the other hand, is one that I find extremely fun and endearing, even though it has so much competition in the genre. It's not even close to politically correct, and that makes it all the more fun to me. It stars Yukinari, a young lad who has a phobia of women. Their very touch makes him break out in hives. That is, until an alien girl, Miharu, visits Earth. She's the only girl who doesn't trigger his symptoms, and as such, they embark on a romantic comedy filled to the top with lewd scenarios. MyAnimeList gave it a 6.39, but I think it deserves an 8. Kyrie is undeniably best girl, and it's hilarious watching her struggle with the rich, yet insanely perverted Fukuyama. The Dot Hack series was really anime's first attempt to depict an MMO on screen. It was way ahead of its time, as online gaming was just beginning to bud. Its single-player video games imagined an online world more vast than reality could replicate at the time, and alongside its original run came a short OVA series called Dot Hack Liminality. While the game's characters were fighting to rescue players who were trapped in mysterious comas, a separate group outside the game was investigating the phenomena IRL. This little OVA has some of Yuki Kajiura's best work, sporting a refined elegance that still holds its ground even today. It's got a 6.59, but I think it deserves a solid 9. Next up is a short little anime called I Can't Understand What My Husband Is Saying. It's the story of a woman who finds her significant other in an unlikely place. Her husband is a total otaku and high-functioning shut-in, whereas she's an office worker. Despite this, the two make a wonderful couple with plenty of hijinks. This show is absolutely adorable and takes almost no time to binge in its entirety. Mal has it at 7.3, but I have nothing bad to say about it whatsoever. It's a great example of how someone's love for anime and their love for another human being aren't at all in conflict. Rather, it's just another passion one can share in romance. Yet another one of my all-time favorite anime, one that deserves nothing but praise, is stuck with a mere 7.47 on MyAnimeList. It's Amagi Brilliant Park, the heartfelt and hilarious tale of a former child actor tasked with bringing profits to a decrepit theme park staffed by genuine magical creatures. It's got KyoAni's signature quality, with phenomenal music, amazing character design, and a narrative arc that fits perfectly into a 14-episode package. I don't give out legendary rankings easily, and even using Mal's score system, I give it a perfect 10. Also, in Japanese, you can hear Artoria's VA, Ayako Kawasumi, play a stubborn and aggressively adorable mascot named Moful. Oh, and the waifu. So much waifu! Speaking of waifu, I think it's a cardinal sin to give the iconic High School of the Dead anime a mere 7.08. I suppose at first glance it feels like senseless booba, and it is, but this amazing thriller combines sex and zombie horror in a perfect blend. This anime is capable of instilling genuine tension, while also dishing out plenty of comic relief. Even if you're feeling skeptical, please take my recommendation and at least try it out. When Ari-chan and I stumbled upon this gem, we binged it late into the night, and it's one of my fondest anime memories. Blue Gender is a science fiction horror anime that used to air on Adult Swim. It follows Yuji Kaido, a man who underwent cryogenic freezing, only to wake up to the Earth being attacked by an alien race called the Blue. After being rescued by a team of operatives, he has to journey across the destroyed remains of the planet to seek shelter in a space station called Second Earth. Along the way, he falls in love with his rescuer, Marlene, and their bond is what helps them navigate this hellish environment. I absolutely love this anime's adult themes, and even though its ending is somewhat controversial, it definitely deserves more than a 7.03. If you do watch it though, do not choose the summary film called The Warrior. In my opinion, it ruins the experience, skipping critical moments while altering other parts that I loved. I've already made a video on this short series, but our next entry is Shamanic Princess, a 6-episode OVA that has a compelling visual design. Narratively, it has a bit in common with Fate, as it deals with mages and their familiars. The protagonist, Tiara, is a total bombshell, and she lights up the screen with awesome magic spells. There's an intimate drama here that ties it all together nicely too. My only real critique is that the story makes way more sense if you watch the last 2 episodes first, even if it results in a slower start. That issue isn't nearly bad enough to warrant this anime's current score of 6.62. Izetta the Last Witch was a very memorable anime that aired in the fall of 2016, close to when I started this channel in fact. It's another one of those pseudo-European settings, like Valkyria Chronicles and Yojo Senki, but its focus is on Izetta, a witch who falls in love with Ortfine Frederica von Eilstadt. Izetta's magic is able to turn the tide of the war, prompting her enemies to seek out and exploit her weaknesses. I loved the relationship between the two girls, and there's a lot of tension as their coveted peace gets threatened by scheming villains. I gave it a 9, so it shocked me to see that it's sitting at a 6.75 online. What sort of dark magic is at play here? As I said before, a lot of amazing retro anime tends to score pretty low on MyAnimeList. Perhaps we have AniTubers like Bennett the Sage to thank for that, I don't know. Still, I refuse to let that spoil my fun, which is why our next entry is a bizarre 2-episode OVA called Dragon Half. Think Slayers, but with more insanity and sex appeal. It stars Mink, a half-human, half-dragon who pursues the love of the dragon slayer Dick Saucer. I told you it's silly. A lot of anime elitists may have created this idea that anime needs sophistication to be objectively good, but the kind of anime I fell in love with growing up was special for being totally unhinged with fantastic visuals. Thus, while Mal gives it a mere 6.85, I give Dragon Half a 9. For the exact same reasons, my next pick happens to be Plastic Little, The Adventures of Captain Tita. Satoshi Urushihara is one of my absolute favorite anime artists, and I even dedicated an entire video to his unique retro style. Of all his animated works, Plastic Little is the most polished, and watching it is always a visual treat. Yet again, we're looking at a senseless yet aesthetically stunning film that follows the young Tita as she helps her new friend Elise escape the pursuit of a corrupt military. This is one of those anime I desperately wish would score a Blu-ray remaster, as its paltry 6.12 score really isn't helping it get noticed. I won't let that stop me though. Definitely check it out. When I was a young lad, I would experience new anime by browsing random DVDs at MediaPlay, a delightful store in the city beside my tiny little mountain hometown. There, I saw an anime called Sentimental Journey. It turned me off at first since it didn't have an English dub, but after giving it a shot, I was pleasantly surprised. It's a 12-episode series, each one featuring the tender story of a different girl's first experience with love. There's so much variety here, and I love how this anime serves as a time capsule, taking me back to a time before the internet. It's really hard to describe, but the vibe this show gives just lulls me into warm fuzzies, and I bet you'll love it too, if you relax and take it all in at its own pace. Mal gave it a 6.76, but I give it an 8. Another anime critical to my youth is Steel Angel Kurumi. It tells the story of Nakahito, a young monk in training who accidentally stumbles upon a hidden laboratory, where he finds and awakens the superhuman android Kurumi. Activated by a kiss, Kurumi adores Nakahito, doing everything in her power to protect him, a mission she prioritizes over her purpose as a weapon for the military. This cute anime had me by the balls, at an age when I was just discovering romance for myself, and to this day it holds a special place in my heart. Because of that, I think Mal's score of 6.76 is way too low. This next one might be the most controversial anime in this list. Aika, or Agent Aika, is a 7-episode OVA loaded with gunslinging action and a comedically insane amount of panty shots. If you hate fan service, then this clearly isn't the anime for you, but it's a lot like High School of the Dead in that, if you can appreciate its insanity, you'll have an amazing time. I initially thought it was a bit too much for me to humor, but in the face of modern censorship, this is some of the best eye bleach one can ask for. It has a fantastic art style and detailed animation, prompting me to strongly disagree with the 5.93 rating it has on MyAnimeList. Just have fun with it, and you will. If you worry about what other people think, you'll fall to the pressure of condemning its ecchi antics. Any connoisseur of retro anime should be familiar with the classic series Dirty Pair. Lesser known is its 90s continuation, Dirty Pair Flash, which replaces the lovely angels Yuri and Kei with another pair of girls also named Yuri and Kei. It's Dirty Pair for the new decade, and I love it just as much, if not more. It tells the story of two trouble consultants, who are essentially mercenaries employed by the 3WA. They're sent on various jobs, from war zones to theme parks, but no matter what, these girls leave chaos in their wake. It features character designs from Takahiro Kimura, the same genius who designed the characters for Code Geass. Mal has this series at a 6.59, but with over 800 different anime under my belt, Dirty Pair Flash sits on the top shelf of my personal collection. I think that says more than a number ever could. We're down to 2 more extremely underrated anime. In no particular order, the next one up is Heroman, an anime co-created by Tamon Ota and Stan Lee of Marvel fame. By all means, Heroman is a conventional shonen about a boy and his superhero mecha. While it's not exactly original, it's executed so well that it rises above all its competition. As far as I'm aware, the only licensing this series ever got in the West is through Crunchyroll, and as such, hardly anyone knows about it. Think of similar shows like Mega Man Battle Network, triple its quality, add a pair of extremely sexy waifu, and you've got yourself Heroman. Compared to some of the other anime in this list, a 6.81 score isn't that low, but it's here because of how fans literally never mention it, which is a huge shame. I'd love to buy it on Blu-ray, along with figures for Lena Davis and Holly Virginia Jones. Hopefully these visuals speak for themselves. The last entry for today is a hidden gem called Ruin Explorers, Femme and Irie. To me, this anime is what you'd get if you took Slayers and supercharged it with better production values and crammed it into a much smaller package. It's only 4 episodes long, so it's really more like a movie than a TV series. The 2 protags are a pair of, well, Ruin Explorers, who wind up joining a much more valiant quest to avenge a fallen kingdom. I'm a total sucker for 90s adventure anime that feel like they hopped straight out of Golden Age JRPGs like Lunar and Grandia. Nothing beats the mesmerizing quality of a well-made OVA, so I can't recommend this one enough. Those who have had the pleasure of seeing this beauty generally give it high praise. As such, the fact that it has a 6.66 on MAL is the ultimate sin. I couldn't help but notice that a huge amount of these anime feature the voice work of Rika Matsumoto, most famous for playing the voice of Satoshi, or Ash, from Pokémon. She plays Kei from Dirty Pair Flash, among dozens of other roles, including a boatload of anime theme songs. I had no idea so much of my youth was enhanced by a single woman. Hell yeah! So there you have it, my top picks for the most underrated anime of all time. Obviously, this only applies to anime I've completed, and it's heavily biased by my own experiences. I don't really believe in objective measures of quality though, and since this channel is all about celebrating your fandom, I really wanted to share these great shows with you. Do you agree with my list? Have I sparked your curiosity in any of these entries? Similarly, I'd love to hear from you guys which anime you think are most underrated. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching!
If you enjoy this channel, help us grow by liking, commenting, sharing the video, subscribing to OtakuDaiKun, and
most of all, smashing that notification bell so you don't miss out on all of our anime discussion, lore, or Let's Play content.
You can support us directly through Patreon, Subscribestar, or our YouTube membership, all of which come with benefits like exclusive vids and early access.
As always,
celebrate your fandom!
I want to give a special shout out to all my $10 and up supporters: VideoGamer75, Stephen Elak, Samuel Gersten, The Nonchalant Ostrich, Otaku Mom, Jens Bauman, Mystic Samurai 1983, Olympian Doll, Lord Omagoden, Freebrick, RNG or Shuffles 1498, Alexis Yukio Gomez Yamato, Link Pendrago, King Kobo, Observer Bellis, Flash Daniel, Eldon Yarbrough, James Hewitt, Uncanny EXP, Zamas Autonomous, Matthew McAfee, Game King 352, Caitlin P., Vladimirovna, Succubus Sakura, Normace, Jonathan Padua, The Taz 96, President Irina Vladimirovna Putina, Maxwell's Demon, Kengo X77, SF Giants fan Mike, and Akakaze Yume. Thank you all so much.